people do and don't do. I remember right out of college I worked for corporate America, and it wasn't life-giving to me. It felt like a prison sentence, actually. But my dad actually got me the job, and so I felt obligated to work there. But then I had this burning desire to travel, to quit my job, travel Europe. And that's what I was going to do. I had this free spirit in me. And it was really hard to go tell my dad. It was really hard because he got the job for me. He wanted to see me succeed. So you can imagine when I went to tell him, and by the way, it was the #1 pharmaceutical company in the world in Forbes magazine at the time that I worked for. So you can imagine when I went to tell him that I wanted to quit my job and travel by myself with my backpack, trekking across Europe. When I went there to tell him, it was not met with, "Oh, that's great, you're living your passion." I was met with, "What about your safety, security? This job will give you everything you need. Money, longevity, benefits, everything I need. What do you mean you want to go travel, quit your job and travel?" But that's what I wanted to do. So we had a head-to-head. And it wasn't that, after preparing this talk, it wasn't that he was upset with me. He had an idea of how my life should be. He had an image of what my life would look like. And I had an image of what my life would look like. And those images collided and crashed. And they didn't burn because actually I went over with him to start my journey. And I think that he saw that being in that company wasn't freedom at all for me, because it didn't match up with who I was and what I wanted to give in the world. So maybe you can relate to what I'm saying here. That when you come in contact with somebody has an idea of how you should live your life. Anyone have that? Somebody has an idea of what you should be doing. Or you have an idea that what you should be doing and you're not doing it. Those are the false images of ourselves that I'm talking about. Those are the agreements that we hold within ourselves, with ourselves and others. Those are the limitations that we see. Those are the judgments that we make. And that is not what I'm talking about when we embrace ourselves, when we embrace the truth. And when we live from that false image of who we think we are or who we think others are, we don't allow ourselves or others to express authentically. Maybe it's not okay to feel a certain way because that doesn't fit the image we have for ourselves or for someone else. Perhaps we're telling ourselves we need to live this way because it will fit into a society, but it's going against the grain of who we truly are. So when we learn how to move beyond that false image into who we are, and we embrace that we are love in action, that we are peace in action, that we are powerful beyond our imagination. We can live that love is expressing as us, peace is expressing as us, power is who we are. We can embrace that. We don't have to fix our false image. It starts to shift and change. Because there's nothing about us that we need to fix. We are perfect, whole, and complete. That's what we teach here. That's one of the very fundamental teachings of the science of mind. That there's nothing we need to fix. There's nothing that we need to change. Because we're perfect, whole, and complete. And what Ernest Holmes says is this: it is scientific for one to consciously let go of his troubles and errors, feeling that they no longer affect him. He has learned a lesson that false ideas do not pay, and is willing and glad to turn from all that hurts to the great light. And the Spirit, because of its nature of wholeness, is ever ready to take him in its embrace and make him whole again. What can shift and change is our misconceptions about ourselves, our limitations that we have about who we are. By embracing the truth, we can allow all those false things to just die away and then transform, supporting the truth of who we are. So how do we know that we're living in this false idea? I'm going to give you a little example. We know we're living it when we're living in judgment. One day it rained on my farm. I said, I am lucky. And then it rained more than my crop needed. I said, I am not lucky. And then a couple canceled their trip because of the rain. They definitely said they were not lucky. But the train they missed had an accident and everyone died. They said they were lucky. So who really knows what lucky and unlucky is? And yet, when we're living our lives, we're living saying, well, this is lucky, this is unlucky, this is good, this is bad. You know, a horse ran away from the farm. I said, this is bad. But when he came back, he brought 3 other wild horses. I said, this is good. Then my son went out to train them and fell off the horse and he broke his leg. I said, this is bad. But then the army came and took all the fit young men to the war, but left my son. I said, this is good. How many of us fall into those patterns where we start labeling things as right, wrong, good, bad, lucky, unlucky? You know, what's lucky for me may be unlucky for you. What's good for me may be terrible for you. Yeah. So we live in this world. I mean, I catch myself all the time. The better, worse language, the good, bad, the judgments that I make upon myself. I judge, oh, I should have done more of that. I could have done more of this. That's all living from the false image of who I am. And Ernest Holmes says it's scientific to let that go. To let those false beliefs go. And if we let them go, what are we to embrace? We're to embrace the truth that all is love, that all is peace, that there is only one power, presence, and intelligence, and all is working in divine harmony. You see, that false image, when we can get beyond that, we can begin to see that everything in our life is for us, for the expansion of our good.